There we go. Alright, cool. Hello guys. So, today, we wanted to talk about how everybody wants me to talk about this filter. This is the Redstone-Activated Spawner Filter, and I've been kind of fiddling with it here. It doesn't need to get this complicated. I've been fiddling with things. This is kind of to prove that the filters still aren't there. This requires only one spot for all of these spawners to spawn the minecarts. It uses spawning range and max entities. And the filter wasn't originally set up for that. I had to put in a bunch of little custom text so that it would do that, but hopefully we can compact the amount of work that this took me at some point. Yeah. This is basically to prove that I spawned a house. I'm the first one to spawn a house with a roof, and like I could have done this so much. That would have been so nicer without having to have a giant grid of. We'll go look at it in a minute. But yeah, I wanted to kind of show how all the little features of the filter works. There's some little hidden features that I gotta point out. And another thing, this might change at some point. So this will be like the current guide to the filter. So in the future, there might be differences. There might be a completely different filter. I don't know, there might be two filters that do this function, one that does this function, another one does that function, the old function, I don't know. But basically, yeah. So let me set something up here. Alright, the basic of the basic. ID. Now ID can be anything, ID colon. The syntax for the entire filter is having a colon after everything if you need to put a variable after it. This could be anything you want. Test1. I'm going to put test1. Now, it does need another thing. See, each of these over here has a destination sign where the spawner is formed at, and a source sign and a destination sign. So, what we're going to make is, we're going to do ID, test1, and this is going to be the destination. And then we'll do that. And then this will be ID test1 source. So, the block that is under the source sign will be what is converted for the spawner, or for the Redstone-Activated Spawner. And this is it. This is actually the entire basic structure of it. We're going to actually run this in the filter and see what comes up. And let me get rid of this one. Alright, here we are in MCEdit. So, click that, click that. That's both the signs to set up, and we'll go to the, well, it'll be down here. TrazLander Spawner Filter. He named it after me. It's awesome. Ignore that. Get rid of that. So any of this stuff, you can pretty much ignore this for now. This, it kind of gives every variable and all the kind of info. Put a nice kind of description on everything here. But we're just gonna make sure create spawners is selected here and run the filter. And we'll go back to the game after hitting save. And there we are. We have a spawner minecart on top of a spawner. We break that, and it spawns a block. We do it again, spawns a new block. Do it again, spawns a new block. And all we have to do is plug this in kind of one of these redstone thingies that dispenses lava and pulls it back in. Or we could just walk up and punch the minecart. And that's it. That's the basic of the basic there. That's all you really need is just a sign with ID. It doesn't need to be test. It can be whatever you want. Blah, ID blah. Make it source. This block can be any kind of solid block, and it'll convert it into a falling sand. And then the destination sign has to be the same ID. Blah. Destination. And that's it. Now, the rest of the stuff is all kind of extra, so we're going to go ahead and set up a few more things here. We're going to put ID, blah 2, and source, and we're going to throw a repeater here. Okay, do the same thing over here, ID, blah 2, and that's the destination. And then another thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a chest and put that here. And I forgot the thing for it, but what I meant to put on there was, let's do blah 3, source, and the other thing we need to put on here is ent. And this will indicate an entity. So this will convert this repeater into an entity spawner. It'll drop it as an item. And if you put it on an entity, if you put ent on a sign that's above a chest, it'll actually convert, what do I got in here? Let's convert a cactus. Let's actually convert 8 slightly damaged anvils. And if you have it in a chest, it can be anywhere on the chest. I'm going to put it there to bug OCD people. We'll put it here, ID, or blah 3, destination. So that'll help with that. I'll just fix that sign in MCEdit. And I think that's it. Actually, another thing I wanted to test is, actually it'll automatically convert tile entities too, so it can be either a block here or a tile entity. So it could be a chest with full of items, so we're going to actually do that too. Let's just do, we'll do the difference here. Throwing whatever crap, random crap is in my inventory. So this one's going to be ID blah 4 source, and I'm not going to put ent on this one. So this will actually convert the chest. So we'll do ID blah 4 destination. And then the last thing I want to try, I think this will work. Say, holy crap. This might work. I haven't tested this. Let's find out if it works. I want to see if this updates when it lands. ID blah 5. And this will be the source. And then right here, let's do that. And let's do that. ID blah 5, destination. Okay, let's go over to MCEdit and run this. I'm gonna fix this sign. Okay, I said I wanted to fix this sign. We see the little repeater entity laying on the ground here. If there's an air block underneath the sign, it'll check for entities, and it'll grab the repeater laying on the ground there. So we're gonna actually fix this and make this say ent. It could be anywhere on the sign. It doesn't actually, that was too short, so we're gonna put it on this line. It has to be the full ent word. Save. And so these all should be individually different. Let me actually copy and move it over there. And we'll run the filter on these. So just make sure this is set to create spawners. We'll go over what these do later. Create spawners. And that one didn't work. Why didn't that one work? Destination, source, ent. Maybe I didn't find the repeater entity. That's interesting. It's supposed to. I've actually never tried it before and made sure it found it, but I'm actually not sure if it did. So, whatever. The chest thing is better anyway. We'll go back to the game and check on these. Okay. So, this one is supposed to be just a bedrock block. That one didn't work. I'm not sure why. Block 2. Yeah, that should have worked. If it's an item spawner, it's just going to display a pig every time. There we go. I got what did I say, 8 anvils. So that's what's in the chest there. 8 slightly damaged anvils, and there's none in my inventory, so let's make sure we pick those up. Sweet. Let's do that again. Woohoo! That works. That one. Okay, that's a chest. And there's all the stuff, all the supplies, all nicely set up. There's some weird bug where it's like facing a certain direction. Yeah, it decided to face this way. Apparently I need to spawn it higher up in the air and then give it time to fall so that it doesn't try to orientate itself. We'll actually check on that. And then this... Okay, no, it didn't update. Let's do that. Okay. No, okay. Huh, it updated when I broke the torch. That's weird. Okay. Well, that doesn't work. Actually, that might need to fall down a bit, too. We'll try that, too. Let's see what happens. Okay, test 1. Plop. Nope. But there is one way to do that. If the backside of it's on a wall, I don't know, I think it's some old code or something that's getting involved in the damn thing. Plop. Yeah, it'll face depending on the wall that's it's back to. I'm gonna consider that a bug. That's a bug right now. It's annoying. So your chests are just gonna be annoying sometimes. Their back has to be against a wall. If they spawn like next to each other, they'll do weird things sometimes too. Plop. So that's how the chests work. And no, that didn't update. Oh well. But then you can have something run along after it detects that something landed there and activate it. Alright, so next thing we want to do is spawn a stack of things. We're going to do it all from MCEdit here. Now, in the future maybe we can do this type of thing, but for now I'm going to go ahead and grab this little contraption here, just copy it off of something else I've already done, paste it over here, because we're going to need that. And it's basically just a dispenser with a lava bucket, and I put a block here so I can easily grab the corner. It's hard to click glass in MCEdit sometimes, but you can click the block here, and I click up here. So this is how I kind of have the thing set up. It's nice. I'll show you again in the game. I can highlight that, clone it, number 3, clone, and nudge it there. And then just repeat it for however many I want. I'm going to do 6. Okay. And now, I'm going to save that. And what we're going to do now is we're going to place a bunch of signs. How we want this kind of set up. So we're just going to make a little stack of things here. Maybe 3 different blocks along the bottom here. So let's do... Okay, how we're going to do this is... Actually, I should do that in-game. Alright, let's go with the trend of using whatever the hell's on my bar and in my inventory. Let's see. There, okay, that works. Let's do that. Say hi, even though it's not going to actually activate. Actually, it might, because those are falling too. We'll see. And we'll put a chest in the middle. It updated it. Let's put a dragon egg. Sweet. There, a bunch of crap that's in my inventory. Reeds, sugarcane, alright. How about a wooden door? That works too. And that works. We'll also want, let's do an anvil. Totally, I don't know how I missed that. Piston head. Can't even place that. Redstone torch, sure. Oh, I didn't even know that. That's funny. Okay, so we're gonna spawn that. So we have our nice little pile of crap here. We're going to copy each one of these into these spots up here. I'm gonna go ahead and clone this and bring it up into the air. And now I'm just going to spread it out. Now, the first thing that needs to spawn is the lower row, to make sure that the top items can land on top of them. So we're going to make those in the first little redstone spots. I need to name these. I can't, it's hard to say what they are. So we're going to do this. Now we're just going to spread them out like they are kind of in the, how they're gonna get put in the dispensers, in front of the dispensers. Let's just say that works. Let's go that way. That works. And yes, I did this for the entire house and everything else. Just kind of moving it along, laying it out like this, flat, so that I could place them all into the dispensers. That looks good. They need to be 2 spaced apart every time. We'll clone this and move it over here. And there you go. In you go. Alright, make sure copy error is unchecked so it doesn't get rid of all the glass and stuff falls, lava comes pouring out the bottom or something. I'll paste those in, and they all get pasted right there. Now this is where the the spawner spawns right here, and the bedrock block turns into the spawner. The sign turns into the minecart spawner. So all these blocks turn in the spawner, and the minecarts land up above them. So now we're going to place signs there. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and put... Actually, I'm going to do the do this first. Alright, so we're just going to put a nice destination for them to spawn at here. Click, click. We'll do fill. We're going to fill this in with signs. Now, the thing about signs in MCEdit, right now they're all undefined. And if I fill in a large area of signs, it's annoying because you have to double click on each one of them to kind of update them. And if I save now, it'll show that that's an actual tile entity box. So what we added on the filter is this little option here, populate sign tile entities, filter, and now there are tile entities. It's that simple. So you can fill in giant areas with signs. Bam. And then I can highlight this whole area of signs and run the filter, populate sign tile entities, and it takes a second with this many, apparently. Go. And there they are. That's trippy. Ooh. Anyway, so the first thing we want to do for these is each one needs its own ID. Now, another thing that's on here is replace sign text. Now this is similar to Seth Bling's find and replace signs filter that he made a while ago. This one will pretty much, you find blah and it'll replace it with hey, and that's it. That's what this filter does. I needed to do a few more things. If this is labeled as none for find, it'll actually fill it in if it's not there. So I'm going to do ID test. Test 1, replace sign test, replace sign text, and run the filter, and test 1 will be on all of these signs. So I can do that the same thing with destination. Place sign text, and destination will be on all of these signs. So, each one of these is test 1. I actually need to individually change each of these to test 2. Yeah. Test 3. Test 4. Test 5. And test 6. Alright, cool. Now all we need to do is clone this, and we'll do the kind of same thing we did over there. I should have done these at the same time, but oh well. We're just gonna lay them out like they're gonna be in the little spawner things. Set them up. There. And 1. We'll go ahead and clone that. Stick it right there. Sweet. That should be above each of the blocks. We'll paste. I actually think I have the torch reversed. I think this needs to go on the right. Stick this over here. Clone. Delete that. Okay. This is distracting. Let me get rid of you. Now, we should nearly have it. Get rid of that. So, this has test 1 through 6 at the destination. This has test 1 through 6, and it also says destination. So now all we need to do is highlight each of these, find destination, and replace it with source. Replace sign text, and that's it. Oh yeah, the other thing we're going to need to do is these 3 need to land first. These first 3, so that they're on the bottom, to make sure the top 3 can land on top of them. So we're just going to add a little delay to these 3 after, so that these spawn first. So one of the parameters here is, wherever it is, here, D, delay. Initial delay value for the spawner. So what we're going to do is, this is actually, like, think of this in terms of the first sign here, the source sign, affects everything that affects the solid spawner, the original spawner. The destination sign, on the other hand, affects everything that affects the minecart spawner. So if I put D, I need to put D on all of these. I'm going to go ahead and do it on here. And this needs to be none, so that it'll add it. So we're going to do delay of 10. Because the bottom one is going to be 1. And that should add D10 to all of those. Good. Save. And let me go ahead and run the filter. Let me go ahead and copy it and make sure it comes out okay. And we'll run the filter on this set here. Make sure it says create spawners. Filter. Save. And that should be good to go. And button. Pop. And... ooh, the anvil didn't pop up. What happened to it? That's strange. Where'd you go, man? Well, let me figure out what happened there. And the chest, of course, rotated weird. I'm gonna have to put like a block right here so that it doesn't face that way. I think it has a chance, it always tries to face to the south unless there's a block, then it orientates itself differently. Go ahead and pop that chest and... okay, there's the chest. I'm not sure why the anvil didn't spawn. We'll check that out. Oh, I know why. The redstone's not long enough. These 3 need to spawn first anyway, so I'm going to put a repeater right here, and then I'll make the redstone reach all the way. Go ahead and get rid of all of this. Hit the button, and... there we go. All the stuff's in there. Say hi. We do anvil, and that's everything. Alright. Alright, we just keep getting more and more advanced here. So, the next thing I did here, so I added a 3rd chain. Now I could do, what I did here is 7, 8, and 9. And I want to stack them all on top of each other. And I also want to make those entity spawners. But, one thing I can do, actually, is I can get rid of these 2 lower signs, because they're all going to be pretty much in the same spot. They all fall down, so we can all just spawn them all at this top row. And I'm actually going to just nudge up 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to spawn 1, 2, and 3, each of these all at the same sign. So we're going to clone that. I'm going to go ahead and move the signs to there. And that looks good. And so there. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So they're all going to spawn there. So to make this work, we're just compacting the amount of signs we need here. What we're going to do is we can add a delay to this second set here. Now, before I added the delay to these signs over here, but we also added another little thing here, where is if, like, there's a parenthesis D in front of each of these variables. If you add D, it'll point to the destination sign, even though it's on the source sign. So I did D delay 10 over here. I'm going to actually put DD, yes, follow along, DD 10 over here. That might not be long enough. Let's put 20. Just to be sure, it's not important if it's too long a delay. So that's DD20, and then this set needs to spawn on top of that. And we're going to do DD40, replace sign text, and if this is none, it'll just add it to the sign. Another thing is if this is none, this is another thing that's kind of improved on Seth Bling's fill and replace signs, is if this has something, it'll completely get rid of it. It'll delete it straight out if this says none. Just another little extra bit. You can even delete a space. So that's that. I'm actually going to add ent to all of these. So there's an item in each of these chests. I'll go ahead and save, and we'll make sure that came out alright. So this is what it looks like. We have the 3 signs here, and each of the things along there. Let's see if this worked. 1, 2, and 3. So that third set was all entity spawners. Sweet. And that's all it took. So yeah, you can use putting the D in front of the variable just to make it easier, or compact the amount of signs you're going to need. Just by making more spawners point to those signs. You could even compact it down to 1 sign, and y minus 1, that's a variable, so you can have the sign, the center sign, the main one, and then just everything that's going to spawn over here, just add 1 to that way, and add 1 to that way for everything that's going to spawn in this spot. And we're just about getting done with everything that this filter offers. I wanted to talk about why this only is able to spawn once. The spawner minecart is able to spawn once through the use of using spawn data. Now, there's 2 things in a spawner. There's spawn data and there's spawn potentials. Now, spawn potentials is what it sounds like, what it can potentially spawn. That can be one of any number of random things. It'll grab it randomly. So it can be a whole bunch of things. Spawn potentials. So it'll grab one thing from here, and then that'll be its spawn data. And whatever delay it's set to, it'll sit in spawn data until it spawns. And once it's spawned, after that's spawned, it pulls from spawn potentials. Now, the minecart spawner specifically is set so that it only spawns the spawn data. And then everything that's in the spawn potentials, everything afterward, spawns into the void. Y negative, I don't know, y minus 1. It spawns at y minus 1 with a time of 100, like last video I talked about, is instantly destroys it. So that's what it does. Turns the spawn potentials to y1, and all the data is the only thing that's actually going to spawn. So that's why it's only able to spawn once. Now, there's a few useful things in this filter onto the perimeters here. Lots of little things you can play with. One of the main things I like to use is despawn timer for items. It's normally 5 minutes. Like any item that gets dropped onto the ground, it despawns after 5 minutes. You can set that as long as a half an hour, I think. You can also set that to max. If DA:max, it'll just max it out. There's other little tidbits here. Falling block drops items. If it doesn't have a colon after it, that's all you have to put. So if you put DR, it'll drop items. If you don't put DR, it won't drop items. This is stuff for anvils, but it'll work on any falling sand entity. It'll deal damage if you set it. So falling sand block inflicts damage, and then you can also set the amount of damage. Falling distance multiplier, that's part of it. There's something on the wiki. It's called chunk load, and that's a page that'll explain what each of these little tags will do. So just look that up if you're really curious, but most of these are self-explanatory. Despawn for timer for items, max player range for the spawner, max objects inside of the spawner. All of this stuff is set to default if you don't put anything there. So it's set to actually the default of what we set it to. If there isn't anything that really we needed to set it to, like we needed one range normally for these spawners, so that's what it's set to, so the minecarts don't conflict with each other. But you can set custom spawn radiuses. You can have a velocity. You can have it go flying off when it spawns. Coordinates relative to the sign. You could change the coordinates relative to the sign, which is kind of what we did. We could move this instead of adding a delay. We can get rid of that. DD's, what was that, 20? And we could put none. So replace sign text, and that will get rid of the DD20. And instead we can do none, and we can add DY, which puts it one lower. So we can actually spawn it one below. Actually, that's probably even better. We can actually get rid of all the delays and just have them all spawn at the same time. Actually, no, those still need to land first. So these do need a delay. That's okay. Need less of a delay now, because they're already at the location they need to be. So, for the house, everything that I used, the destination signs, each of these kind of correspond to the things. C10 is column, 10, row 4, and then 11. So I kind of set everything out in a grid so I could organize it better. Everything over here, everything on these signs either has DT or DD. Now, I don't need DT1 on everything or anything anymore. That was kind of an old thing. It also made it easier to organize all of this. But all you need to do is set DT0 for if you need to get rid of a block, have it turn into sand. DY 14 minus 14.6, that said. So this is like right below down here. So all these signs right here point to down here. That's how these are set up. Just moved them up and then just changed the Y coordinate. So pretty much everything out here has those three things on it. It has DY, DT, and DD. That was really all I needed. I needed to change the time so that I could destroy the block. I needed to change the delay randomly, like this is the wall changing. So each block had its own kind of delay for each one, and then the Y coordinate was however below the sign it was. And that's it. I believe that's it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll see if I can answer them. Yeah, the filter's a little tricky, but again, it's hopefully this is new technology. The filter technology will get improved, I'm sure. I'm sure somebody will create a filter that lets you highlight a whole house and just turns it into a Redstone-Activated Spawner setup. That's all you need to do. So I wouldn't spawn a house yet with this. Again, this sucked. So just wait on that. There might be something better in the future. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.